We're in it, man.
What is up, people? We are back in the lab. It's been 4 months since we last released a show. 4 months to the day, as a matter of fact. A lot of things have transpired since then. We've moved to a new location. We are now at the Tampa Club, Tampa Bay's finest dining and business club. We're at the top. You can see the background behind me. We used to film and record out of the Practice a Touch of Wellness, which is now closed. In those 4 months, some things have transpired. We had an emergency health scare. I experienced an aortic aneurysm, and that aortic aneurysm ruptured. That was literally December 12th, which is 4 weeks from today, 4 weeks before. Went to the hospital. Doctors checked me out. Nurses checked me out. Everything seemed to be normal. Blood pressure normal, EKG normal, but I just wasn't feeling good. Started to fight with them, letting them know something's wrong. It took about a few hours before they finally decided to do something. They brought me back, did the normal chest pain protocol, the way hospitals are, nurses, everybody sticking you with needles and putting leads on you. Turns out after about 5 hours, one of the doctors came and discovered that the CT scan of my chest was abnormal. So he ordered a sonogram, and that's when they found the aneurysm ruptured and what's called a dissection. An aortic dissection is when the aorta, the inner muscles, start to peel away and kind of split open. And so basically 90% of the people who have that accident or injury, 90% of them die. So what we did was we got there luckily in time, and doctor started to set me up for surgery. I was airlifted from St. Joe's South to St. Joe's Main, where surgery was not an option. It was the only option. It's the only thing that would save my life. And so as I kind of, took all this medicine, they put me in his helicopter. And I remember, well, first of all, it was 5 hours later. No one survives 5 hours with a dissection and an aneurysm. There hasn't been one that I found in recorded history of a person surviving that. Even the surgeon was kind of shocked. And so when I went into the helicopter, 5 hours later, the flight nurses and the paramedics asked if I had kids. When I told them, yes, I have 2 kids, they tore the patches off their shoulders and told Kalani to give those patches to my kids. I guess they thought I wasn't going to make it, which is fine because most people don't. As we landed at the hospital, I saw a team of people, surgeons and such, coming up to me. Doctor said, I'm your surgeon. This is what we're going to do. And they stuck a needle in me and said, count backwards from 100. I made it to 99 and I was out. Turns out that after 8.5 hours of surgery, I had a full chest crack, open heart surgery. They replaced an aortic valve, which is one of the valves that go right into the heart. And they repaired one that was shredded. So just knowing what happened kind of works on my psyche a little bit. Kind of hard to discuss sometimes, but that is a good reason to take a break, you have to admit. So I stayed in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and after that first surgery, I was recovering. I think there was a part of me that thought I may have died because I was awake and nobody was paying attention to me. I was like, hey, I'm over here. And I didn't feel anything, almost like I was floating. And so finally the nurse saw me, and I tried to take a breath, and he's like, you can't breathe. You have a tube down your throat. We're going to take it out. And obviously that kind of freaked me out a little bit. So they leaned me forward, one nurse and one respiratory therapist. And when they leaned me forward, they put their hand behind my back and then let me fall backwards and yank the tube out. The only thing I can think to myself was, you motherfuckers. that hurt a lot. So I knew I wasn't dead then because there was absolute pain in my throat. And so finally, when I got a chance to see, Kalani, who's my fiance, I got a chance to see her. I got a chance to see other people. I was extremely grateful because, like I said, 90% of people die from this. And I haven't heard of any case of a person waiting 5.5 to 6 hours before the surgery that has survived. So I'm kind of walking around with hashtag tough to kill, that kind of stuff. And then so 2 days later, I was told that I had a blood clot in my leg, a DVT, and they had to go in and explore that and take that out, or else I could lose my leg, which left me pretty scared. I thought, if you're saying that the likelihood of not surviving is really slim, and now you want to start dividing that number, you want to start dividing that 10% to 1, start dividing that 1. I wasn't going for that. I was thinking, you know what? I don't care if I lose the leg. I'm just not going to do it. And so I was on the phone with my boy Henry, who's a nurse, and he told me, look, you have to do this. And I asked him, if this was your kid, if this was your wife, if this was your parents, would you do it? And he's like, hell yeah, I would do it. I said, look, if I lose the leg, I don't care. I have my life. And he says, idiot, if you lose your leg, they're not going to do it while you're conscious, so you're going to have to go under anesthesia again anyway, which made perfect sense of why I should get this next surgery done. And so, spending days at a time with tons of visitors, tons of loved ones, hundreds of people praying for me. It's a very humbling experience, and I'm grateful to have survived that. And 4 months has been a long road to get back here, but we definitely had to get back to what we were doing because what we're doing is so important. Patrick and I both feel that this is very important, and we will not be deterred even by an aortic dissection. You hear that? Don't know how to quit. So anyway, back in the hospital, I was having some challenges breathing, and after about 10 days, or maybe 9 days, the doctor came in and he said, we're going to have to go back in and do another surgery. And of course, I was freaking out. I didn't want to do another surgery, but I trusted him, And he said there was a lot of fluid around my heart building up and that he wanted to go relieve the fluid. So, in between that time, he'd come in and, I talked to him a little bit, and he said to me, you're a very lucky guy. So everyone who said that to me was saying it with a face like I should be dead. And so that was very impactful. When I first woke up in ICU, I was looking at the nurses' station. All the nurses were peeking their head in. Doctors were peeking their head in. Even techs were like, is that the guy? Is that him? So they'd walk in my room and go, wow, he's young. No one believed that I survived that, which was humbling as well, And so when the doctor decided he was going to go back in and do another surgery, first he was going to have some radiologists stick me with a needle. I thought, yeah, okay. Draw out the fluid with a needle. I don't have to go back under, but he decided he was going to do it himself. He told me he didn't want them doing anything stupid. This guy's brilliant, Dr. Bradner is his name. He's a cardiac thoracic surgeon at St. Joe's. And so when they told me that I had an aortic valve, a mechanical valve made of titanium, that kind of freaked me out. I confused it with a pacemaker. He's like, no, it's a piece of titanium. It's going to be in there for the rest of your life. So I was thinking, what's going to happen when I go through metal detectors? They're going to search my crotch and touch my junk and all this. And he's like, nah, that's not going to happen. It won't even go off and stuff. So there's been a whole slew of things, and that was kind of the short version of what was happening and why we took some time off. We still worked a little bit behind the scenes, but I ended up closing my practice in February, so I'm no longer operating out of a touch of wellness. And I consider myself one of the best massage therapists on the planet. But maybe it's just time to close that chapter in my life and come do this and put all of my energy into what we're doing now because of how important it is. I wear a medical bracelet. I have to take 10, 12 pills a day, all these different medications. My whole life is different, and instead of trying to re-enter my life at some point and go back to the Scott that I was, I'm realizing that I really have to just be this new Scott, a new person, new opportunities, a new lease on life. And so that's what we decided to do. Like I said, we took some time off. We worked behind the scenes, never stopped, never thought about giving this up, never thought that we wouldn't be able to be back. We are back a little quicker than most people thought, including some of the doctors, but we're back nonetheless. And there's been a lot of changes. We're in a different location. Like I said, Tampa Club, Tampa's premier dining and business club. It's a beautiful view. They've become a sponsor for us. Working behind the scenes to bring you some video. We're working behind the scenes to, obtain new sponsors, to do more, to get great interviews, to bring quality content to our listeners. We've been doing all that in the past 4 months, and so today, which is April 12th, it marks exactly 4 months since that injury took place. When I spent 13 days in the hospital, and the next 9 after that, stuck to a chair, unable to get out of a lazy boy chair. And so the rehab has been pretty extensive with, walker and physical therapy and occupational therapy, respiratory therapy. They would puff this air into my lungs. Hurt like a son of a bitch. Sneezing was a problem. I couldn't sneeze without severe pain. I couldn't cough without pain. And every time I had anything like a burp or a cough or a clear my throat, I had 5 people ask me if I was okay. And so that was probably, more traumatic than I realized initially. But we're moving past that. I walk around the 12-inch scar on my chest, wearing it with pride, not afraid to show it at all. You know what I'm saying? I take off my shirt at the pool really slow, hoping people ask so I can tell them what I survived. But I didn't do it alone, I did it with a whole crew of people that took care of me, that watched over my kids and watched over my family and kept them updated and gave us tons of support. And so now we're back here and more driven than ever, more inspired than ever, feeling better than ever, feeling like there's nothing that could stop us ever. And so the path we're taking now is different, but it's a better path for us. We are completely focused on a ton of different things, but it's all in perspective. I sit and talk and tell the story, a different version, so, I don't want to bore you people out there with the long version of my story, but we are certainly looking to do bigger and better things. We have our eye on the prize. I no longer have massage therapy to take up time. So now, not that I'm still not one of the best massage therapists on planet Earth. That's pretty undisputable. But we're doing different things now, and we're reaching more people. With massage therapy, it was one person at a time. In a room, I could help one person at a time. Now we're trying to reach out to hundreds, thousands, millions of people. And so we thank you for joining us on this journey, and we have a lot of shows lined up, a lot of quality content. We have a lot of great guests, and I just feel grateful. My family's grateful. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to share my story and take you guys on the journey with me. And it means a lot to me for any of the listeners to even tune in and pay attention to what we're doing. There's so much white noise out there, and there's so many people doing what we're doing. I just feel we're doing it a little bit better. We're a little more driven, and we have quality people come on the show and share their entrepreneurial spirit, their entrepreneurial journey, and their entrepreneurial insight. And so we'll continue to bring you great shows, great content. Please listen. We're grateful to everyone who listens. Share it, do all of those things. It's going to be much better than it was before, and we bring you on the ride with us. We want you to hear our mistakes. We want you to see the mistakes. We want to record the mistakes so we can grow, be better, provide better content. We'll be releasing videos on the YouTube channel very soon. We've just acquired Merchant Side Marketing Group to have our website taking care of things. Isham and his crew, they do a great job, and we're going to be able to bounce back and bring you lots of content. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining us on our journey.